Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Pokemon Pocket deck profile for you. Coming at you this time with Skarmory Magnezone. For our deck list, we're on 2 Magnemite from Spacetime Smackdown, 2 Magneton from, of course, Genetic Apex, 2 Magnezone, 2 Skarmory, 1 Heatran, 2 Pokeball, 2 Giant's Cape, 2 Rocky Helmet, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Sabrina, 1 Cyrus. This is one of those kind of up-and-coming meta decks. There's actually quite a few out there that are making use of Magnezone. Seems to be one of the all-stars of this current format, alongside cards like Darkrai and Exeggutor. One of the reasons Skarmory pairs so well with Magnezone is that it's a very aggressive Pokemon, meaning that it can deal a lot of chip damage and even knock out a fair amount of starting basic Pokemon as you're setting up your Magnezone in the bench. We have Heatran as a potential secondary attacker, with alongside, of course, the tools necessary, literally, Pokemon tools, necessary to make sure our Skarmory is online as often as possible. Yeah, especially with the Rocky Helmet, Skarmory is like just a better version of Druddigon, right? 20 less HP, but able to deal 50 damage for 1 energy is definitely a very fair trade-off. Yeah, here I debated for a moment if I wanted to put on the Rocky Helmet or the Giant's Cape. Giant's Cape would let me survive a coin flip land on heads from Tropical Swing, but as you can see, we can actually KO their Execute in one shot, so I don't have to worry about Exeggutor, and in that regard, I'd rather put on the Rocky Helmet and try to damage this Celebi a little bit, right? I could potentially deal 50 to Celebi, taking it down to 80. It attacks me, takes the Rocky Helmet damage down to 20, and then I could even maybe KO with Magneton for the remaining 60, potentially. We'll see how this plays out, but yeah, the ability to both be aggressive while still building up the Magnezone is just so unbelievably good. I mean, Magneton making the Magnezone a self-sufficient attacker is in and of itself, of course, just unbelievably good. Yeah, the fact that it's a stage 2 is greatly outweighed by the, of course, ability to generate its own electric energy. Yeah, going for the metal arms here. Now, this deck probably will have an Erica to heal here, but if I can find Magnezone in time, then we should still be good. Yeah, sure enough, here's the Erica. Kind of figured that was coming. Alright, going for the coin flip. We just need 1 Tails here, and our Skarmory can live and deal another 50. And there it is. Ideally, we get 2, but nah, just the 1. That's all good. Alright, Powerful Bloom dealing 50. We're still at 30, and then we deal 20 to them. Alright, drawing for turn here, and we actually find the Magnezone. So, I don't even need to really do anything more with this Skarmory. I can actually just win the game right now, right? I can evolve the Magneton after getting some energy on it, and retreat it for the Magnezone. And Celebi is conveniently at 110 HP, so Thunder Blast will KO it and give me my remaining 2 points. I mean, that's just why, again, it's just one of the reasons why this deck is so good. You're so aggressive that even, yeah, I guess I have Celebi here as their deck, but it's probably more likely an Exeggutor deck. Exeggutor, known for being a very aggressive deck, can't even keep up with us here. Mostly because we were able to KO the Execute in one shot. So good. So good. Alright, next up we're up against Darkrai. This opponent's going to be on Darkrai. Wheezing, in particular, is their secondary backup Pokemon. Yeah, Darkrai is kind of like Magnezone in that there's a ton of different ways that you can play that strategy right now, including, of course, the 2 together, but Darkrai Greninja is, of course, a thing. Darkrai, yeah, Wheezing, as we're going to see here. Leading with Skarmory again. Yeah, I think the only issue I could really see this deck having is if you don't open the Skarmory. If you just open Magnemite or Heatran and nothing else, I think that would definitely be a bit of a struggle, but thankfully we didn't really encounter that issue too much in the this little testing session here. I think this build is pretty spot on. It seems like a lot of the tournament winning / topping builds are on pretty much this exact 20 cards, and yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I don't really know what else I would change here. I think the trainer lineup is all good. I like having the one of Heatran, even if it doesn't come up a lot. Just having, again, another option to deal a lot of damage, I think is quite nice. Also, a basic Pokemon having 120 HP and the ability to deal 110 damage is definitely not that bad. Granted, of course, it has the recoil and it takes 3 metal energy, but it's still not bad. Okay, here I decided to use Sabrina because my thought process was I want to at least get some amount of damage in on this Darkrai. For one, they might not be able to retreat it out because it does cost 2. And 2, if I deal 50 to it now, then I'll be able to KO it more easily with a Magnezone later, which we do have the Magnezones in hand. Just need to find that Magneton. So you might be wondering again why I Sabrina instead of Professor's Research there, but I figured this was the best turn to Sabrina, and I can always just Prof Research on the next turn. You can make the argument that, yeah, if I'd Prof Research this turn, I might have found Magneton sooner, but I think it's negligible, honestly. Looks like our opponent's going to make use of, was that 2 X speeds? I think they actually used 2 there. Interesting that they're on X speed and not Leaf, given that Darkrai and Weezing both have above 1 retreat costs, but I suppose it works out for them here. Looks like they are going to poison our Skarmory and then also attach a Dark Energy to Weezing so I can start doing Tackle. Pokemon Communications is going to be the next card from our opponent here. They're definitely whittling down their hand here. I think they're going to play a second Darkrai, if memory serves. Oh, another reason to have damaged the... Oh, no, they're using another Pokemon Communication. That's what it is. Another reason to have used the Sabrina there to damage the Darkrai so that we can potentially put it into the active zone with Cyrus later. Also, by damaging the Darkrai, they've already put an energy on. Yeah, here we go. Even if they play a second one, now they're more committed to the damaged one. So they either have to keep continuing to commit to the damaged one or commit to starting over on the other Darkrai. Either way, either scenario is definitely fine with me. Alright, so here we're going to start with the Pokeball, of course, before we go for Prof's Research, finding our other Skarmory. I would have preferred to have seen Heatran, but it's either way, really, honestly. Alright, there's Magneton, as well as the Heatran, so definitely not bad draws at all here. We're, of course, going to evolve that Magnemite ASAP and start Volt charging it up. Yeah, we're looking pretty good here. Weezing having 110 HP means it can just get one shot by Magnezone. The other nice thing, and I think this actually contributes as to why Magnezone is so good too, is 140 HP is quite a bit. Think about it. Even if Magnezone, like, you know, attacks and is left out in the active spot, Darkrai can't one-shot it. It can only deal 100 damage. It'll leave Magnezone at 40, so... Another nice thing about this deck, no EXs. So not only is it a very budget-friendly deck, but on top of that, our opponent does have to KO 3 Pokemon in order to win, as opposed to us, where we only have to KO 2 of theirs. Alright, so tackling the Skarmory to take care of it. You could maybe make an argument for me retreating out that Skarmory, but at the same time, it just would have meant one of my other Pokemon would get damaged, and... that Skarmory was already damaged anyway, so... Alright, now we're going to Volt Charge and then attach a Metal Energy before evolving into Magnezone. While this does mean I can't attach any more Lightning Energy, that's actually fine, because I can still do 2 more rounds of Thunder Blast from the Magnezone here. Because the attack only costs 1 Lightning and 2 Colorless, so... yeah, sure enough, they're bringing out their Darkrai that has been damaged from earlier, that does have 2 energy on it. Like I said, they're kind of in a situation where they were more forced to commit to continuing to build up this Darkrai, and now they're in a really tough spot where, I don't know, I think I would have just put in the undamaged Darkrai and tried to retreat. But again, they used double X speed earlier. I don't think they're playing Leaf. I don't think they are. Just too bad. Yeah, so they deal 20 with the ability, and then 80 with the Dark Prism attack. But as mentioned before, that's just going to leave our Magnezone at 40 remaining HP. So now I can simply attach a Metal Energy for turn, and I'll just drop the Thunder Blast on him. And there we have it. There's our 2 remaining points to take the W there. So yeah, we beat up on Executor, we beat up on Darkrai. I think this deck definitely does hold its own very well against the meta and deserves the... well, I mean, it earns, really, the high win rate it's got. It's not about deserving at all, right? Okay, let's go into our last game here, which is going to be against one I haven't seen in a bit of a moment, actually. Our next game is going to be up against, there we go, Mewtwo. Mewtwo EX. Yeah, Mewtwo EX, what is the current win rate for this deck right now? It's not good. It hasn't been good for quite some time. It's still at 40%, 40.5% at the time of recording this. That's very low. Especially for the 14th most popular deck in the game. Every other deck besides 2 above it have above 50% win rate. Funnily enough, the other 2 that are below 50% are Charizard, Moltres, and Gyarados Greninja, which are, all 3 of those have in common the fact that they are older meta decks. So, I mean, especially the Charizard and Gyarados decks, it's not... Because Charizard is the 3rd most played deck right now, and Gyarados is the 5th. So, those decks having a below 50% win rate is definitely not for a lack of trying. Okay, so it looks like they're just leading with routes so far. Our opening hand is looking not bad. We've got the Skarmory and the Tool. Can't really ask for too much more than that. Playing on other routes. I was pretty confident at this point that it was a Mewtwo deck, but, I mean, the Gardevoir line can be in literally any number of Psychic decks. It's pretty good no matter what. Alright, so we're going to go Professor's Research here, hoping to find Magnemite. Getting Magneton and Giant's Cape, but no Magnemite here. So I debated for a second of which tool I wanted to put on. I thought about it and I was like, you know, the Giant's Cape doesn't really help here, because if it's Mewtwo, right, either way, we either take 2 Psychic Spheres, which is a total of 100 get KO'd, or we get Side Drived for 150. Giant's Cape putting us up from 80 to 100 doesn't make a difference in that either way, so we'll put the Rocky Helmet on. Yeah, that's definitely what you should be using to determine which tool to use. If you're trying to figure out which one you've got multiple, just think about, like, what it would take to 1 or 2 shot your Skarmory, and if Giant's Cape would make the difference. If it does, put the Giant's Cape on. If it doesn't, put the Rocky Helmet on. Alright. Looks like they're evolving both of their routes into Kirlias. Our opponent's then going to drop... Wait for it. It's the Mewtwo here. And you can see me, I'm waiting for it here, the cursor. Yeah, the Mythical Slab whiffed, but I think our opponent still ended up with a pretty good hand here. Just waiting to see what else they've got. Oh, the waiting is killing me here in post, because I know they played Mewtwo this turn. There it is. I think they play a Mew right afterward as well. I don't know why it took them so long to think about that, but... So yeah, all of a sudden we're looking not quite as good as we were before. When it was just Skarmory against 2 Kirlias, I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. But now Mewtwo's starting to get built up, and still no sign. Well, we have a Pokeball here, but spoiler alert, yeah, still no sign of Magnemite, unfortunately. We've got the Magneton in zone. I really just need that Magnemite, like, ASAP here. Gonna play the other Skarmory, throw a cape on it, and then attach an energy before KOing the Kirlia. I wonder... Nah. Maybe. I don't know, actually. I was going to say, I wonder if you could make the argument that I don't attack there, so that way they have to use one of their energy attaches on the Kirlia. But that doesn't really make a difference, because they can't side drive this turn either way, and either way they can still side drive on the next turn. Regardless if they have to spend an energy to retreat the Kirlia. Plus that would just cost my Cyrus. It would cost me my Cyrus later, and I might need to use that on this Mewtwo, which is going to get damaged by the Rocky Helmet. Furthermore, we can, of course, damage with the Skarmory. Drawing a Sabrina here, but I don't really feel like Sabrina does enough. Because, like, they would have swapped in Mew, and then we could have Cyrused out Mew later, but either way, it takes 3... It's going to take 3 total Metal Arms, whether I KO Mewtwo or Mew, right? So... Okay, they're going to Potion here. That's fine. That actually doesn't make a difference. It's still the same number of Metal Arms to KO them. Yeah, Psyshadow, putting the energy on Mewtwo, building up the Mew as well. I think they also, yeah, they have a Giant Escape from Mewtwo, but this also doesn't matter because this extra 20 is going to get chipped off by the Rocky Helmet anyway, so I still just need to land 2 Metal Arms in order to KO this Mewtwo, but our time is running out here. Like, I can do 1 more Metal Arms, but then they're just going to KO me with Side Drive, and I currently don't have any other Pokemon right now. Here we finally draw Heatran, but it's literally 1 turn too late, which is actually just infuriating. Because you see I had to attach a second energy to this Skarmy. If I'd drawn Heatran last turn, been able to play it, attach a Metal Energy, this turn it would have 2. Skarmory attacks Mewtwo here, puts it down to 50. Their turn, they KO Skarmory with Mewtwo, and then the next turn I could have brought in Heatran and KO'd Mewtwo for the win. But, like... Oh, it was so infuriating. Like, even this potion wouldn't have mattered here. It literally came down to needing to draw the Heatran 1 turn sooner. Oh, I don't think I even have a top deck at this point that'll get me out of this anymore. I wonder if I should have retreated into the Heatran and forced them to Side Drive. That doesn't really matter, though, because then I bring in Skarmory, smack them down to 70 where they're at right now anyway, and then they would have just done 2 energy for lethal. So yeah, I think we would have lost either way, but can't win them all. Oh well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing for more profiles. This is Hexlex signing out, hoping you have a fantastic day.